everyone, it's Laura, and I hope you're all doing well. So today I thought I'd answer the question, are nuts healthy? So if you're interested, then let's get started. So there's actually quite a bit of literature out there looking at nut consumption and specific disease states. And there's some pretty compelling evidence suggesting that daily consumption of nuts can help decrease the likelihood of a whole slew of different diseases, including cardiovascular disease, cancer, respiratory disease, and overall death. So the recommendation is 1.5 ounces of nuts per day. So that's about a small handful or 2 tablespoons of nut butter. So probably the most studied nut is the walnut, just because it has a higher content of omega-3s. So if I had to rank all the nuts, I would say that walnuts are pretty on up there, almonds, Brazil nuts, and then at the bottom would be the peanuts. Just because, so what we're looking at when we look at omega-3s isn't necessarily the amount of omega-3s that you consume. It's more of the ratio of the omega-6s to the omega-3s. So the smaller the ratio, the healthier it is. Unfortunately, the American diet has a lot of omega-6s, and so we're wanting to increase the amount of omega-3s to help that ratio be better. But if you're consuming a overall healthy diet, a plant-based diet, then the idea is that your ratio would be smaller if you're making healthier choices. So start with walnuts, almonds, Brazil nuts, and then peanuts are at the bottom, and then the other ones are somewhere in between. Although technically peanuts aren't a nut, it's a legume, but people still classify it as a nut, so we'll just, for the sake of this video, say it's a nut, but it's a legume. So keep in mind that consuming nuts every day, you could potentially be canceling out the benefit if the nuts are covered in sugar, chocolate, salt. And so the goal would be to consume very low sodium nuts, or ideally no salt raw nuts would be the goal. So this video isn't me telling you, oh, go out and eat chocolate covered almonds every day or yogurt covered peanuts. So the idea isn't to increase your refined sugar or increase your sodium in any way, but rather to increase your omega-3s. So trying to stick to the low sodium or the raw nuts. Not that you can't ever have chocolate covered almonds every now and again, because I do love some chocolate covered almonds, but just don't let those be your daily staple, if that makes sense. So nut oils can also be a good source of omega-3s and be a healthy addition to your diet. However, they lack the fiber that is found in the whole nut. So ideally, you'd be consuming the whole nut rather than the oil. But if you do consume the oil, just like the nut, the omega-3s have, or the walnuts have the highest content of omega-3s, and then peanut oil would be your lowest. But with that being said, a lot of the nut oils do have a lower heat content, except for coconut, which I don't even know if you classify coconut as a nut, even though it's a coconut. I don't know. But your other oils, apart from coconut oil, tend to have a lower heat threshold. So they start to break down and become rancid when you use them as on heat on the stove or in the oven. And so if you are going to do the nut oils, then try and use it in no heat recipes. So whether you're drizzling it on your salad or drizzling it on your dish as just like a finishing touch. So I hope this helped you out. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Also check out my website, check out my Instagram, and I'll be seeing you on my next video. Bye.